Students, so we have started the unit B block in the last class, and we have started the group 15 elements, that's the nitrogen family. So that is include the nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth. We have discussed the electronic configuration and the atomic radius ionization enthalpy. Today we are going to discuss the next atomic properties. That is the first is the electronegativity. So the next characteristics which we are going to discuss is the electronegativity. Now student, these elements, right, the group 15 elements, they are electronegative with respect to that of the group 14 elements, and their electronegativity is because of their smaller size and greater nuclear charge, right? So the electronegativity of group 15, it is due to smaller size and greater nuclear charge, right? But the electronegativity decreases decreases down the group. Hope so you can just give the reason for it, that why it is going to decrease. Yes, it will decrease due to the increase in the atomic size. So decreases down the group. There is two reason main here. The first is due to increase in atomic size and decrease in nuclear charge. And students, second is due to the inner electrons shielding effect, right? You know that when we move down the group from arsenic to antimony and bismuth, there we have got the completely filled B subshell and the F subshell also, right? Arsenic has got the 3D shell, 3D subshell completely filled up. Here we have 4D shell completely filled up, right? And here we have, along with that 5F, we have got 5D, we have got 4F also completely filled up. So due to the shielding effect caused by the inner core electrons, right, inner DNF electrons, the electronegativity is also going to decrease on moving down the group. Now student, the next property is the metallic property. Now, compared to the group 14 elements, group 15, they are less metallic in nature. So compared to group 14, this group shows less metallic character, right, as it has got the smaller size and the greater nuclear charge. So what will happen? The ionization enthalpy is going to be high, so easily it is not going to lose the electron. So that this is because of due to smaller size and greater nuclear charge, right? And we can add here also and high ionization enthalpy respect, high ionization enthalpy comparatively. So if you see here, the nitrogen is a non-metal, right? Phosphorus is again a non-metal. Arsenic and antimony, they are metalloids, and bismuth is a metal here. So in this group, we have got nitrogen and phosphorus as a non-metal. These two are the metalloid, and this is again a metal here. So we have here nitrogen and phosphorus as a non-metal, right? These two, and arsenic and bismuth as metalloid, and arsenic and antimony, and bismuth as a metal, right? So this is it regarding the metallic properties of these elements. Right. Now next come the melting point and the boiling point. So when we discuss the melting point and boiling point, so this is melting point and boiling point. Now students, melting point is related with the, we can say, bonding between the atoms in their crystal lattice, right? How the neighboring atoms are bonded to one another, how they are associated with one another, right? Whereas the boiling point completely depend upon the size of the molecule, but here we are discussing the individual element atoms, so it will depend upon the size of the atoms. Now students, let us first discuss the melting point. So it has been observed that the melting point, it in group 15, first it increases from nitrogen to arsen, right? So it has been observed that melting point increases from nitrogen to arsen. The melting point is going to increase, right? And then it decreases from antimony and bismuth, right? The melting point decreases from antimony to bismuth. So this is a we can say it's not a, it's a irregular trend in the melting point. It's not an even trend or gradation in the melting point. Now why is it so? Because in the, when we are talking about the melting point, as I said, it is related with the association of that mm, atom with the surrounding atom, right? So nitrogen, phosphorus, and arsen, they are connected, bonded to the surrounding similar atoms through 5 covalent bonds, right? Whereas on moving down the group, that is antimony to bismuth, they are only surrounded by 3 covalent bonds, right? Just here we have got the 5 covalent bonds formed, and here it is only 3 covalent bond, right? This we are talking related to this NS2 NP3 configuration. The last two members, due to the inert pair effect, due to inert pair effect, are not able to form 5 bonds, right? Hence we can say, hence comparatively weakly bonded So lower is the melting point, right? So this term is very important. We have discussed in 11th also, but I will repeat it again, that here this phenomena is the inert pair effect, right? Due to this inert pair effect, the element antimony and bismuth, they are not able to form 5 covalent bonds with the surrounding, or they are not able to get linked to the other atoms as nitrogen, phosphorus and arsenic are able. So they are weakly bonded and hence melting point is going to be low. Right. Now students, here after involving or after getting this 3 covalent bond formed, right, ns2 electrons, the inability, or we can say the reluctance of the ns2 electrons to participate in the bond formation, right, due to the poor shielding effect of the D and F subshell or intervening inner electrons, right, is known as the inert pair effect. So again I am repeating, what is inert pair effect, student? Inert pair effect is the inability of ns2 electrons to participate in the bond formation. As a result, they are considered to be inert, right? They have got the stable, completely filled configuration, right? So it is going to affect the melting point of the antimony and bismuth. So just now we have discussed the melting point. So melting point, generally from nitrogen to arsenic it is going to increase, but later on down the road it is going to decrease. Now students, we will discuss the boiling point. So since the boiling point of the atom, or sorry, of an element is going to depend upon the surface area of it, right, which in turn depend upon the atomic size. So if the atomic size increases, the boiling point is also going to increase. So here, on moving down the group, on moving down the group, boiling point increases due to increase in atomic size. Right, student? Now, the next property is the catenation property. So, students, you know about what is catenation. It is a self-linking property. Self-linking property. So, if we compare the catenation property of nitrogen family with that of the group 14, that is the carbon family, we will find that they have lesser tendency to show catenation, right? And why it will be so? Because the bond dissociation enthalpy or the bond enthalpy of the carbon and carbon is greater than that of the nitrogen family members. So the catenation property these have lesser tendency, these elements have lesser tendency or low tendency to show catenation than group 14, because of low bond dissociation enthalpy. Right, so these members have got lower bond dissociation enthalpy. That means here to break this bond, carbon and carbon, more enthalpy is required, more heat is required than with respect or in comparison to the nitrogen family. So the bond enthalpy, that is the amount of energy required to break 1 mole of a bond of a particular type, right, to get it separated the atoms into gaseous state, right? That is the bond enthalpy, and it is in case of carbon family or C dash C. You know that carbon has got the you can say most effective catenation property, and that's the reason that why it forms such a large number of the hydrocarbons are formed, right? So that's the reason why they have got higher tendency, the carbon family or carbon, because of its higher bond enthalpy. Right, students? Next is that if we see within the group, right, that is in the nitrogen family only, all these elements, that means the nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony and bismuth, they have a tendency to show the catenation. Right? Definitely it will be to a smaller extent. Right, students? And phosphorus, it has got the maximum tendency in its group, and it forms the cyclic as well as open chain compounds, right? So the phosphorus will have in its group maximum tendency to show the catenation property. Now the next property is the allotropy, right? That is the different forms, right? So nitrogen doesn't show the allotropes, whereas similarly bismuth also don't show any allotropes. We have only the allotropes of three elements: phosphorus, arsenic and antimony. Phosphorus exists in the form white phosphorus, black phosphorus and red phosphorus. Arsenic in the form of yellow and grey arsenic, and antimony in the yellow or silvery grey form. Right? These are the allotropes of the group 15. So only phosphorus, arsenic and antimony, nitrogen and bismuth will not form the allotropes. Right, students? Now students, the next property which we are going to discuss is the oxidation state. Right. So whenever we are just finding out the oxidation state of the particular group, we will just focus on its electronic configuration. So the next is the oxidation. Next is the oxidation state. So as I said, that whenever we have to find out the oxidation state of a particular group, we will just see the configuration of it, the outermost shell configuration. So here you can see that it has got NH2NP3 configuration. So here the oxidation state will change or will vary from -3 to +5, right? So here it is from -3 to +5 oxidation state, right? So regarding the first, that is the -3 oxidation state. The nitrogen, it has the stronger tendency to form the show the -3 oxidation state, because you can see here that it is just lacking of 3 electrons to get the stable configuration, inert configuration, NH2NP6. So since the nitrogen has got smaller size and greater nuclear charge, his tendency to show the -3 oxidation state is maximum, right? So nitrogen shows the -3 oxidation state so as to get octet complete, and because of its smaller size and high nuclear charge. In its group, it will have greater tendency to show the -3 oxidation state, right? Similarly, phosphorus do show the -3 oxidation state. Okay, so the phosphorus will also show the -3 oxidation state. The tendency to show the -3 oxidation state, it will decrease on moving down the group. So tendency to show -3 oxidation state is maximum of nitrogen, followed by phosphorus. Phosphorus will also show the -3 oxidation state with the metal. right? For example, if it is calcium phosphide, right, Ca3P2. So here students, the oxidation state of calcium is +2 and that of phosphorus is how much? It is -3. Similarly, the nitrogen also form calcium nitride. Here also the nitrogen is showing the -3 oxidation state, right? So next is a tendency to show -3 oxidation state. Students, here I have already told you before, OS I am just writing for the oxidation state. To show -3 oxidation state decreases down the group due to increase in size, right, and decrease in the magnitude of the nuclear charge. Decrease in, you can say, the effective nuclear charge. So the tendency to show the -3 oxidation state will be, we can say, will be just absent in the bismuth. It is going to show the decrease, right? Similarly, we will move to the another oxidation state. Yes, students. So here you can see on the board that the next oxidation state is a -2 oxidation state, and it is shown by the nitrogen and phosphorus only. And nitrogen is shown, the -2 oxidation state is shown in hydrazine NH2 dot NH2 NH2 NH2. It is hydrazine, and phosphorus it is diphosphine. Right? Similarly, the -1 oxidation state, it will be shown only by the nitrogen, and that is NH2OH, which is called as hydroxylamine. Right? Phosphorus is not going to show it. So generally, students, these are the negative oxidation states shown by this group. Now coming to the positive oxidation state, right? The two common oxidation states that these elements are going to show is +3 and +5 oxidation state, right? This is the two positive oxidation state that is generally shown by this compound. But here we have to keep in mind that the stability of, this is very important, the stability of +5 oxidation state decreases down the group right, and that will be because of inert pair effect. Right, student? So due to inert pair effect, the +5 oxidation state, it is shown by phosphorus arsen. But when we are coming down the group, the antimony and bismuth, their +5 oxidation state compounds, they becomes unstable because of the inability of NS2 electrons to participate in the bond formation. Right? That means the bismuth in its this state, Bi5, it is written Roman numeral here. It means the bismuth is in +5 oxidation state. These compounds are unstable. Right? So this is important, that the stability of +5 oxidation state is going to decrease down the group. And the second point, that the stability of +3 oxidation state is going to increase. That means bismuth 5 compounds will be unstable and bismuth 3 compounds are going to be stable. Right, students? So just get this noted. It's very important, and you get the questions related to this topic, that the stability of +3 and the +5 oxidation state in the group. So, and the stability of +3 oxidation state, it increases down the group. Right, students? Now here, student, I want to make one more important note to you that the nitrogen is the only element in this group which will not show the plus 5 oxidation state. And why is it so? Because of the unavailability of the vacant d orbital.